Autonomous systems are changing warfare and changing it faster than many ever expected. From cheap drone swarms that overwhelm defenses to AI tools planning cyber attacks. Nation states now use Agentic AI as both weapons and as force multipliers. Today, I'll explain where we are, who's building what, the real risks, and the real benefits. And I'll answer the question everyone is asking. Are we heading toward robot armies or something worse? Where do things stand today? The short answer? Governments are in fierce competition to fund and field autonomous agentic systems across land, air, sea, space, and cyberspace. We are way past pure laboratory demos. Autonomous behaviors have moved into the field. Ukraine is an especially active battlefield. It has proven the value of drone autonomy in combat and some of the risks. Defense budgets from Washington to Beijing to Moscow now prioritize AI and autonomy. But full killer androids with human-level judgment? Not yet, and maybe never. What we do have is rapidly evolving mission-specific autonomy. Scouts, strikers, defenders, with varying degrees of human oversight. So who's building these systems? Three groups matter most. States: China, the United States, the European Union, Russia, defense contractors, and research labs. Among the states that are actively involved in this development, the United States, China, Russia, Israel, and the Ukraine are all actively deploying or funding autonomous systems. In the United States, budget lines for autonomous drones, undersea systems, and wingman aircraft that fly alongside piloted jets are already being funded. In China and in Russia, the investment is heavy in loitering munitions that sit around and wait until a target appears, and autonomous swarms that apply those munitions to battlefield elements. Ukraine, deploying thousands of cheap drones that strike air bases, logistics hubs, and even individual soldiers deep behind lines. And the companies, of course, who are behind all of this. These are traditional primes like Lockheed, Northrop, Boeing, Kratos. They're specialized drone makers, and there are dozens of startups hoping to get in on this boom. One industry list this year named roughly 100 firms pushing drone tech alone. It's a boom, but where's it going? Then there are the research actors, national labs, university teams, and corporate AI labs. They all are prototyping agentic behaviors, perception, planning, multi-agent coordination, often in simulation first and then in the field, but trials in the real world are accelerating. Let's be clear with our definitions. Autonomy means the ability to sense, decide, and act without direct human input. Agentic AI goes further. It takes the autonomy and it sets and pursues sub-goals. It chains those actions together. It calls tools to meet generalized goals, and it adapts toward a mission objective. In practice, militaries are using autonomy from the bottom up. At the low level, for stabilization, for sensor fusion, for flight control. At the higher levels, for target detection, for route planning, for limited weapons release, and usually still with human approval. At least, that's what most militaries say to the press. Real-world examples show both promise and danger. In the Ukraine, swarms of loitering munitions and drones are deployed. Semi-autonomous drones and autonomous ones that strike nodes and convoys and lie in wait for them. Cheap, adaptable drones have forced Russia to improvise its defenses fast. The United States is funding wingman aircraft, undersea autonomous vehicles, scaled autonomy for persistent missions. Battlefield experiences in the Ukraine have accelerated the innovation worldwide. The results? Much faster decision cycles, much longer persistence on field, high-risk missions without the risk of human lives. but also new vulnerabilities, new uses for jamming and for spoofing, adversarial hacks, in other words, cyber war. If you can hijack the enemy's autonomous system, you can turn their weapons into your weapons. The risks are layered. Targeting and accountability, allowing algorithms to pick human targets without oversight. This is a legal and a moral minefield, but it's one already taking place. The UN, non-governmental organizations, civil groups are all pushing for bans and restrictions. But the major powers, and that's where the decision-making lies, resist binding rules. Escalation and miscalculation are happening. Autonomy acts at machine speed, and humans are losing the time to verify. That short window raises the chance of escalation based on misreads or accidents. Reliability. AI can hallucinate. It can be spoofed, camouflaged, or poisoned with bad data. Civilians can be mistargeted. That is a catastrophic error if the entire intent was to lower human casualties. Proliferation. Cheap drones are everywhere. Non-state groups can get hold of them. Asymmetric violence at scale is now affordable to individual organizations. How long before they are used in civil unrest in urban areas? First by the police, and then by their opponents. Cyber and supply chain risks exist too. These systems run on software, cloud services, global components. Corrupt the chain, and you can hijack entire fleets of autonomous and semi-autonomous machines. So, why pursue autonomy? Force protection, robots that clear mines where a human can't or shouldn't be anywhere near, robots and other systems that can scout under fire, that can intercollapse buildings, that can save soldiers' lives where a human would be at too great a risk to go in there. Force projection. The same systems can track, target, and destroy enemy forces. Persistence and scale. Swarms of devices and sensors everywhere. The ability to watch around the clock without fatigue, without the need to sleep. Cost and speed. Cheap drones are built fast. They shift the economics of war, and they are remarkably inexpensive at scale. Precision. Sensors plus autonomy can outperform humans in detection. There are fewer misses. There are potentially less collateral damage. That's the carrot. That is why militaries push forward despite the risks. Now comes the more controversial part. Autonomous targeting. The tech exists. We can detect patterns, we can identify individuals, and we can cue weapons to go after them without further human intervention. Most states say, and say loudly, that humans stay in the loop. But humans are slow, and AI is faster. The pressure to shorten those loops pushes us towards greater autonomy. That's the nightmare. Algorithms deciding kill or no kill with imperfect context and without human guidance. Targeted assassinations. Non-military victims. This is exactly what non-government organizations are warning against and is a high risk, particularly in an accelerating war. Clandestine operations. Cheap drones dropped behind enemy lines. Autonomous sensors that persist unseen, hard to attribute, hard to deter, and always there. This sure as heck raises sovereignty concerns. It raises the escalation risk. That's why governance, audit trails, and strict policy matter. But let's be blunt. This genie is out of the bottle. The focus now may need to be not on bans, but on countermeasures. Next is coming AI versus AI warfare, and there's two domains in which this will play out. One is the physical. On battlefields, autonomous drones already fight other drones. They evade, they attack, they counterattack, adaptive jamming, machine speed tactics. The side that iterates the fastest wins. But that's not the only place the battle is being fought. It may not even be the most important place the battle is being fought. The battle also lives in the cloud. Agentic AI's probe networks, find vulnerabilities, and exploit them in milliseconds. The risk? Automated counters misfiring, accidents cascading into conflict, systems sabotaged at the code level. War is now both physical and digital, and it's increasingly automated. So there is move towards governance and regulation. There's momentum within the United Nations, within civil groups, and some nation states. They want treaties, they want bans, they want strict controls. But major militaries resist this. They prefer national guidelines, technical standards, not blind. But major militaries resist this. They prefer national guidelines, technical standards, not binding bans. Here's the problem. Tech moves faster than politics. Unless nations freeze development, which they won't, regulation will always lag. The risk window is closing. Norms are being written by deployment and not by treaties. So, are we on the path to autonomous intelligence systems in war? Yes and no. Yes, we already see task-specific autonomy. In the air, sea, land, some in space, and certainly in cyberspace. All of that is here. No, we're not yet at android soldiers and are likely never to be. The human level ability of reasoning or morality in an individual is an archaism. True challenge isn't technical, it's political, and it's ethical. Do we build guardrails, laws, oversight, accountability before deployment scales? Or do we race ahead, letting the battlefield itself set the rules? I'll be honest, I'm betting on the latter. If you found this useful, hit like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments. Should we ban lethal, autonomous systems outright? Or at least try to? Or should we regulate them tightly? Or should we let the path continue as it is? I'll read the best replies in the next episode.